Hello everybody, how are you? Hello everybody, how are you? It is time to start our day. It is time to work and play. Hello everybody, how are you? Hi guys, welcome to another week. It's another week of preschool and learning together and having some fun together. Let's see what we're going to learn about today. Most of this stuff didn't change from last week, so we'll just look at it real quick. Our color has stayed the same. Can you say it real quiet? What's the name of our color? Say it as quiet as you can. It's the color blue. The color blue is up there. Now we have a shape. Let's say that loudly. What shape do we have? We have the shape of a rectangle. 4 sides, 2 are long and 2 are short. Our numbers have not changed. Last week we talked about the number 11, and it's a 1 and a 1 standing side by side real close to each other. Today we're talking about the number 12, and it's a 1 and a 2 standing side by side real close to each other. 11 and 12, and there are the words underneath them. 11 and 12. We're still in the month of January. That's what this word says right here. And because it's the name of the month, the first letter is an uppercase letter. And that first letter, do you remember what this one is? We learned this one a while back. This one is the letter J, January. Then we're still in the season of winter. We're pretty new into the season of winter. And it's been cold and cloudy because it's wintertime. That happens. Sometimes there's snow, sometimes there's rain, sometimes there's sun. We like it when there's sun. We have started with a new letter today. Last week we were talking about the letter N. This week we are talking about this letter. And first, before we say what it is, what shape is it? This letter is also a shape that we've learned, isn't it? It is the shape of a circle, and it's the letter O. And it almost, when you say it, your mouth makes a circle. Oh, it's a little circle. There's our uppercase and our lowercase. Now, when you do a sign language O, all you have to do is make it with your fingers. There's a sign language O. Probably the easiest one we have, isn't it? Just curl your fingers together and make a circle, and that's the letter O in sign language. Let's take a quick look at the date. Today, like we said, is still the month of January. When we say the date, we always start with the month. So it's the month of January. Today is January. Let's find out what the number is. 18th. It's January 18th, and the year is 2021. If today is Monday, January 18th, then yesterday was Sunday, and tomorrow will be Tuesday. Now let me test you on this one because we haven't talked about numbers this high yet on our board. If today is the number 18, who can tell me what comes next? What is after 18? If you're not sure, think about what number comes after 8. When we count, we say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So if this is 18, the next one will be 19. Now, what do you think came before the 18? What number comes before 8? 7 does. So that means 17 came before 18. See how that repeats itself? 7, 8, 9, 17, 18, 19. Okay, let's review. Last week we focused in on our rectangle. And when we finished our time together, I suggested that maybe you go try to write a rectangle. Well, today I am going to trace one. Did anybody write a rectangle last week? Did you try to draw one? If you didn't, you can try this with me. This is a fun little pouch that I have because what I can do is write on it and then I can wipe it off and I can do it again and again. So I like to use these little pouches. If you have one, you can get one. And what I've done is I've tucked my paper just right inside. Can you see my paper's right inside? So my paper won't get dirty, so I can use my paper over and over and over again. On my paper, I have a yellow rectangle. I use yellow because it's easy to see and it's easy to write on top of. I can see where I'm writing. So I've chosen, do you see what color I chose today? It matches our color of the month. I chose a blue marker and a rectangle shape. Let me open my marker. Oh, and did you notice also? My pouch is blue, and what shape is it? A rectangle. Okay, when I'm drawing the rectangle, I am going, you know what? I think I'd have a hard time with this. Let me pull over our letter board, and I'll do my rectangle first, and then we'll come back and do our letter and our number. There's my O. I'm going to put this up here so I have something hard behind me when I'm doing it. Now, if you don't have a rectangle to trace. If you don't have something like that, you know what works just fine? Your finger. Put your finger up in the air or put your finger down on the table or the floor and you can trace just using your finger while I do this. I'm going to start up here in the corner and I'm going to go down the short side and I'm just going right on top of my yellow rectangle. I'm going to go across the bottom, across the long side, back up over here on the short side, and then closing it off by coming back on the long side. Now, like I said, if I wanted to, watch what I can do. I can erase it and then I can do it again and again and again. And I can put anything I want inside my pouch. I could even take my letter pages and put them in there so I can use my letter pages again and again. That's an idea, isn't it? So there's our color, there's our shape. I'm going to put those aside so we can talk about our number and our letter. Let's start with our letter. Again, what letter is it? Can you say it in a medium voice? It's the letter O. O. O is a fun one. It's a circle. You start at the top and you go around and you come back up to the top. That's all you have to do. And I like it when the lowercase letters match the uppercase letters. I don't have to learn two things. They're the same. There's my uppercase. Now here's my lowercase. Same, one's just taller and one's just shorter. That's all. Over here on my lines, I'm going to practice writing them. And I do my uppercase ones on the top lines, and I always like to do my lowercase ones on the bottom set of lines. So uppercase fills the whole space. I start at the top line, I come around, make my circle, back up to the top line. Lowercase only uses the bottom portion. So I start at the dotted line in the middle, go around, and I'm back. That's it. So you can see I've already glued my uppercase and my lowercase. Then I found a picture of something that starts with the letter O to glue on. Now, it might look kind of familiar. If you were with me last week, we used the same food. It's a picture of oranges. Now, last week we got away with it because they were navel oranges, and navel starts with the letter N, which was our letter. But orange, the color and the fruit, starts with an O. So we're going to glue oranges right onto here. Actually, that's right, we used them for our number, didn't we? Because I showed my friend Nellie for our letter, but navel oranges started with the letter N as well. So I have uppercase, lowercase, and I have a picture of oranges. Let's try our number, which was the number 12. Can you say this one quietly? 12. It's the number 12. And a 12 is a 1 and a 2 standing right next door to each other, real close. So when we trace the 1, this one is one of those fancy ones with a little hanging off here, a little top hat. We go up that little side part and then straight down. And then, like I've told you before, when it has the fancy top part, I like to give it a bottom, but you don't have to. You can also just write a straight line up and down. The 2, we're going to start here and we're going to go up around the curve, slide down. When we get to the ground, we run a straight across. Let's practice that together. For our writing over here, for the 1, I'm just going to do a straight line up and down. So I do a 1 up and down from the top line to the bottom line. Now I'm going to come back in between the dotted line and the top line. I'm going to put my marker down. I'm going to go up to the top line, and when I get up there, I'm going to bump it, slide straight down, and then I'm going to run across. Let's do that again because 2s can be kind of tough. We're going to make our 1 straight down. Our 2, we start in between the 2 lines, and we go up to the top until we bump it. Then we slide down and run across. Last week when we did the 11, I showed you how if we wrote an 11 like this, with the 1s far apart, nobody will know it's an 11. They'll think we have 2 1s. Same thing with the 12. If we put the 1 here and then the 2 way over here, it looks like we're writing 1 and 2. When you're writing a number like 12 or 11, you want them to be close together. So there they are standing side by side. I have a picture of 12 of something, and many of you might have 12 of something of the same thing in your house. How many of you like to eat eggs? Anybody like scrambled eggs? I like scrambled eggs, and I have a picture. You usually buy eggs in groups of 12, which is called a dozen. Sometimes you can get a smaller group of 6, but most of the time you buy a dozen eggs. A dozen is 12. Let's see if we can count them together. They're kind of hard to see because they're all white. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 eggs to glue on to my 12 page. Here we go. 12 eggs. There we go. A dozen eggs, 12 eggs. That is all of our stuff from back here, but I brought something special to do with you guys today. I have show and tell. I have something in my bag, and I'm going to give you 3 clues to see if you can guess what it is. Okay, clue number 1. It is a type of bird. What is in my bag is a type of bird, okay? So think. There's lots. It could be an eagle, hawk, parakeet, pigeon, crow. What do you think? You think I've got it right? Let's see. Let me go with the next 2 clues, and then we can decide if one of those birds I mentioned was it. Second clue. Many of this type of bird are nocturnal. So that means, if you remember nocturnal, that means that they are up in the nighttime and they sleep during the daytime. But not all of them, but many, many of these guys do. Okay? So our 2 clues so far, it's a bird and many are nocturnal. You ready for your third and final clue? Your third and final clue is that this type of bird can turn its head almost all the way around. I can go to my shoulder and to my shoulder. This type of bird can go almost all the way around. It can go back further so it can look over its backside. Anybody know what type of bird that is? If you know it, shout it out. Say it real loud. It's an... Dun, dun, dun. Let's see. Were you right? It's an owl. Yep, there he is. It's an owl. Look at his beautiful face. Look at him. Why do you think my show and tell was an owl today? What letter do you think owl starts with? Starts with the letter O. Hey, look at that. There's an owl in the picture. This is an owl puppet. I've got my hand inside and I can make him move. I can make him fly and soar. You are going to help me make a puppet in a little bit, and then you can make your own owl puppet when our time is done together today. But before we move on to make our puppet, I want to share a few facts, a few pieces of information with you about owls. Is it okay if I sit you down, Mr. Owl? He's going to wait for us while we look at our book. He's going to sit over here to the side, and we're going to take a look. This book is a nonfiction book. Okay, most of the books that we share together are fiction books. That means that they're stories. They're made-up stories that are there to make us happy and make us think and maybe sing some songs and do some other things. Well, a nonfiction book tells us information. It gives us real information. So this is a nonfiction book about owls, and that's the word owls right there. You can see the uppercase O because it's the name of a book. So let's find out. I've marked a few pages because there's a lot going on in this book. I've marked a few things that I wanted to share with you. Let's start with this page. We talked about how owls, most of them are nocturnal, which means that they are out at nighttime. So one thing that's important is at nighttime, if you wake up in the middle of the night, can you see very well? It's kind of hard to see. Even if you know where the things are in your bedroom, it can be hard to notice things and see things because it's so dark. Well, owls have excellent eyesight, so they can see. They have very large eyes and they have excellent eyesight. They also have very, very sensitive ears that can tell when things are moving around them. So they use their sense of hearing and, well, I said they have excellent eyesight so they can see in the dark, but they also use their sense of hearing, their excellent hearing, to hear things when they can't see. They can, as I said, they can turn their heads almost all the way around. Can you tell in this picture that this guy's got it all the way over his shoulder and he's looking behind him? That's a neat little thing. Oh, one other really important thing. Okay, these right here, can you see? It's very hard to see, are an owl's ears. When you look at the owl, you probably think those are because they look like ear shapes. They're not. They're tufts of feathers up on his head, and his ears are tucked in over here. I thought that was kind of interesting because they look just like ears, don't they? All right, let's see something else I wanted to share with you, how they talk. It says owls make sounds known as calls. Different types of owls have different types of calls. This is a great gray owl, and he makes a loud crying call to scare away other animals. Owls also call out to find a mate. A male tawny owl makes a hooting call, which is what we think of owls saying, don't we? We think of them saying, hoo, hoo. He lets other owls know where he is. And then the female, the girl owl, hears his call, and she replies to the male owl by saying, kiwik. Isn't that interesting? They have different types of sounds. Okay, next. Some owls live up high, and you might see owls at nighttime in the trees if you look very carefully. Sometimes if we get lucky, we can see them up high in trees. Some owls do like to live up high. You can see this one is up in a tree. This one's made its nest. This one looks like he's on the kind of like a mountain or a cliff, doesn't he? But those owls like to live up high, while other owls like to make their nests in the ground. So you might come across some sometime in the ground. They lay their eggs on or under the ground. This is a burrowing owl, and she has laid her eggs in a burrow that was dug by another animal. So she didn't make her home. She found one, and she laid her eggs there. You can see her little nest of eggs right there. All right, one more, because I just couldn't resist sharing this one with you. Look at those. Those are baby owls called owlets. I just couldn't resist sharing that because they are adorable. Okay, now that you have learned a little bit about owls and you met my friend, my puppet owl, it's time to make one together. What I'm going to use to make my owl puppet today is a paper bag. So if you have a paper bag, you can use that. If you don't, maybe you have an old sock that you can use. So grab an old sock. I also grabbed my scissors folder because this is where I keep all my extra pieces of paper that I've cut into that I can't use for writing anymore. You can see I've got all different colors and they've been cut into. And inside my scissors folder, I have my snippet bag with lots of different little shapes that I've cut out for different things. So let's start together. I've already pulled some pieces together. I'm going to need my glue. I have my bag. And I've cut out some pieces. Let me show you the pieces that I cut out already. I cut out an oval. This is going to be kind of a shape owl because I did all these different shapes to make them. I cut out an oval, and what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to make it his belly. So when I make my puppet, the way I want it to work, when I put my hand inside the bag, is I want the folded part of the bag here to be kind of like his mouth. So I'm going to put his belly on this side right here. So I'm going to take my glue. Let's bring this back so we can use it. I'm going to take my glue and I'm going to put it right here for his belly. Just kind of spread it around, and then I can stick his oval-shaped belly right there. Is he starting to look like an owl yet? Maybe a little. Let's see, what else does he need? He needs some eyes. Do you remember how I said that they have very big eyes? Well, I have two circle shapes, a big circle and a little circle. I cut out two big yellow circles, and then I cut out two small black ones. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the yellow circle, this is his face, so I'm going to put a yellow circle right here, another one right there. There's one. There's two. Oops, let's do it this way. Okay, now the black part is going to go right into the middle. Put a little glue there and a little glue there. Put it right into the middle. Does that make him look a little bit more like an owl? I always think it does. Now, I seem to have lost my other black circle. I know it's here somewhere, but if I can't find it, mine will just have to have one black circle for now. I don't know where he went to. I also cut out here it is. I also cut out a triangle because owls have triangular noses. So I'm going to put that right here between his eyes, just like ours go. And I'm going to give him his triangular nose pointed down like that. It's really starting to look like an owl now, isn't it? I think it really does. What's it missing? Something so important for birds, that owl birds to have. It's missing his wings. So here's what I chose to do for his wings. I've used shapes so far, triangles, circles, and ovals. And my bag is, of course, a rectangle. For his wings, what I did was I took my hand and I traced it. I took my hand and I traced it on here. Here's one of them, and I cut it out. So then I can glue that. Let me put some glue on my hand cut out. I can put it right there. And there's one of his wings. Then I can cut out the other one. I can trace my hand. When you trace your hand, what you do, you don't want to open your fingers this time. You're going to keep them together. You're going to trace around it, and then you're going to cut it out, and that would be your other wing. And I'll let you guys do that. But there you go. You can have your own owl puppet. I am so glad you guys joined me for our O Day today. I'd love to see on Facebook if you make some puppets. You can put a picture. Go on an O hunt. See what you can find around your house. You know what we all have? We all have the outdoors. Go outdoors. Outdoors is an O word. Maybe build an obstacle course. That's another O word. And go enjoy O Day. Make your puppet and have some fun. I will see you guys next time. Bye, everybody.